Hello, I have something a little bit different for you today. This is my first sew and chat with a subscriber, one who doesn't have their own YouTube channel. Now, I have another one coming up very soon, but this is our first. So I'd like to introduce you to Richard. He's been with me since the beginning of my channel. So let's go see or hear what he and I talked about when we got together to chat and sew. I hope you enjoy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Marie's Scrappy Creations, where we sew the scraps of your life into beautiful creations. Today, I have our first subscriber sew-along video, and I'd like you all to meet Richard. And I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself and how he got started sewing.
Okay. When we first got married, we didn't get much money for our like a wedding gift. We got like about 150 bucks, and my wife wanted a sewing machine. So we took the money. We bought a sewing machine. We got married in November, and Christmas was in December. And I bought her a basket with all sorts of stuff to go to the sewing machine, thread. And I bought her a couple of looms, a knitting loom that made like flowers, and just a long loom that you make scarves and stuff with. And she opened a few things and she hated everything. She started crying. I said, "What's the problem?" She says, "This is all for the sewing machine, isn't it?" I said, "Yes." And she said, "I hate to sew." So it's kind of funny. So I learned to use the sewing machine, and she made about 2 flowers in the flower loom, and I used the other loom, and I made scarves and everything. When our son was born, he went to school. I made scarves for the teachers.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, it's crochet off the loom, and that's how I learned to crochet. So between sewing and crocheting, that's how I got to that.
Well, there. You made use of the sewing machine. At least one of you did. So has she ever tried sewing after that, or she never did?
No, she doesn't like it at all.
Yeah. So what do you mostly like to sew?
Crafts. I like to do bags, zippered pouches. I make clothing for my wife's dolls and stuff like that. Stuffed animals, just make dresses,
Sure.
vests and stuff like that.
Yeah. Interesting. So do you have any projects nearby you can show us, or?
Yes. If I can get them. If I can get them this way.
I'll make you work for it.
Right.
No, I just thought it might be nice to show them some of what you're doing, what you like to work on. Okay.
I made a couple of these. I made about 5 of these the other day. Three of them got taken by people that wanted it. Just the whole water bottles.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And then this, I made, the outdoor apron. I finished a couple of these. This one has shoes and stuff on this one.
Oh, that's neat fabric. So for anyone who missed it, that if you're a new subscriber, a matter of months ago, Richard mailed me some gifts, and one of them was a double fabric apron. So just like he showed, there was a different fabric on each side, and unbeknownst to him at the time, he almost copied the exact fabric that my kids remember me wearing that apron as they were growing up. So, oh, very nice. Is that feathers?
Feathers, yeah.
Feathers, yeah, that's a pretty fabric.
This one's a child's apron.
Uh-huh.
A little child's apron, and it's the same
There.
material. And I got a couple more aprons cut out.
Uh-huh. Now, what do you do with do you gift them? Do you sell them? Do you donate them? What do you do with your?
My aunt has a church, and every year they have a bazaar, and they were asking for more aprons. Because I just make up stuff. They want aprons, and they want a bunch of other stuff. I make this is just a vest.
The vest, yeah.
For a little stuffed animal, but
cute.
Dresses, jumpers. I make them for my. Every time she did it as a stuffed animal, I make up the pattern. I don't say the pattern and use it again. I just make another one up.
Uh-huh. Have you heard of that Operation Dress a Girl?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, what they do, I can't tell you what country or,
Is it the pillowcase
okay, and
dress?
I don't even know which church. I think it's a bunch of churches, but if you Google it, Dress a Girl is what it's called. And they have a few approved patterns, and you just take a cute fabric, a flowery one or whatever, and you make these dresses for these little girls that live in countries. I mean, they don't have anything. So to them,
Yeah,
it's wonderful. You
pillowcase.
might do really well with that.
Yeah, I've done a few of those and sent them off. Are those like the pillowcase dresses type thing?
The what?
What they call it, a pillowcase dress?
I know some people, that's what they use to make for them, but they also have a few other patterns you can use. Yeah.
Yeah, you can use regular cloth and make a pillowcase dress out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I showed you that this one was on your site, so this is one of yours with this
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
pockets.
I love that fabric. Can I get a close up of that?
Which this
The other side, please. Oh, I love that floral. That's gorgeous.
Timu fabric.
What's that?
Timu.
Timu? Okay. I'm having a hard time hearing you. I'm not. Sometimes you must be closer to a speaker or a microphone than
I
others.
think it's using the microphone on my computer rather than the one on my phone.
Okay, yeah, it's a little better when you're closer. But yeah, that's a gorgeous fabric. Wow.
They send you one piece. They send you so many. Say I don't know if you get 10 pieces in a package. You get one of each print, so you have to order.
And were they fat quarters, Richard?
No. These were just squares.
Oh, squares. I see.
Yeah, some of them they have in larger pieces, but they're only like they're not actually a square. This is how big they are. They come in a piece.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And
those little zippered bags or snap bags, they're perfect for that because you can mix it up.
But then they had some larger pieces. I bought some larger pieces of fabric. Like this is one of their larger pieces.
Oh, there you go. Now, what's that? Fish? I can't tell from here.
Flamingos. Those, what do you call those?
Too far away, I can't see. Oh, almost like oh yeah, it almost looked like a mermaid from back there, but I see. I'm not good with animal names, but I see. Thank you. I'm sure someone out there is screeching at us of what animal it is.
Yeah, the peacock fabric. But there's a couple of pieces that was able to get large pieces of. But there aren't too many. Most of them, they don't have really large pieces. They usually small. Here's another one that's kind of on a large scale too.
Oh, that's nice. Got the fans on it.
Nice, yeah. This is a good size piece of fabric. But
yeah.
Most of the time, all you get is the small ones.
I see.
Similar fabric from Amazon, but it was in the jelly rolls.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So, you said you started sewing when you got married, and I'm not trying to get you to give away your age or anything, but how many years of sewing experience do you have now?
I'm 75. I got married at, 23, I think. So, a few.
Nothing like putting you on the spot. I'll just be I'll try to be good.
No problem. Okay, I don't know if we can.
But before I forget, I just want to thank you for coming on and visiting with us. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea to be on a YouTube video and put yourself out there, but I appreciate that. Okay, so you cut out a heart.
I cut out the heart, and then I use that for to get the center. So when I'm going to be using a lacy zipper, and then what I'll do is I'll take and I'll trace the heart pattern on after I put the zipper on.
Mm-hmm.
And that way there you get I like to use this too sometimes, because if you have a particular print or something on your paper, you may want to say, you know, you want.
That's a great idea. You can tell where your fabric is if you want a fussy cut. That's a perfect idea.
When you open the, it's going to do a coin first. When you open it, sometimes you want a picture showing.
Yes.
You know, or on the back or the sides, I've cut it fussy cut where I have a print on both sides or on the back.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I've done the same thing. It's just been a while. I've done it with other shapes, but as well. But yeah, I remember using that little trick to get a piece of fabric centered for one of those hanging kitchen towels. I wanted whatever it was right in the center. But thank you for sharing that. That's a great tip.
You're welcome.
So are you working on anything specific today while we're sewing and chatting?
No, no. That's what I'm going to be working on. And
oh, I see. Okay.
with the pieces I have here, really, all I need is half of one of these is going to be for the back, and one's going to be front, and whatever's going to be in the front, I have to cut that one in half because I'm going to use, like I said, a lacy zipper.
Yeah, and those lace zippers, they really add some oomph to the projects, don't they?
And yeah, it's a little bit easier with the lacy zipper.
Yes. Yeah. So for anyone out there wondering why it's easier, when you use a lace zipper, you're sewing the zipper from the outside. So the dynamics of how it's done, it just makes it a whole lot easier on most projects to use a lace zipper.
Okay.
Plus, they look very nice. We would not steer you wrong. So if anyone's wondering, I'm sitting quilting. I have a piece of cotton batting. I am quilting some autumn themed fabrics down onto these. These will turn into some of my open wide zippered pouches that you guys know I love making those. Always fun to make. And since it's late July as we're filming this, I was thinking that, you know, autumn's going to be here before we know it, even though it's really hot right now. I see you have one of the pin cushions like what I'm wearing too, Richard.
Yes, I made that.
What kind of machine do you have? What brand?
Well, this one happens to be a Brother XR53.
Uh-huh.
And it was I've got another Brother too, an electronic one. This one's my manual sewing machine.
Yeah, before I got the Singer, I had 3 Brother machines. I only had issues with one of them. I still have that machine. And most people who own that model of machine love it. And it does have a lot of nice features, but I think I got a dud, and I think that can happen.
Well, what I like about it, I don't know if you can see it or not, but you got your stitch length.
Yeah.
Then you got your needle position, which is your stitch width.
Sure.
And then you've got your pressure. But what you can do is you can move your needle almost anywhere rather than some machines, you know, it's right, left, middle, or depending upon
right. Yeah.
Where what I like about this is by moving this back and forth, you can adjust your needle position or your stitch width.
It really helps to be able to move the needle. I know on this right now, the one I'm sewing on is a Singer Quantum Stylist, and it will move left or right. The different positions, and what a game changer that is.
When you go in to do a zipper and you put your zipper foot in, you just move this back and forth and it'll move it, you know, where you want.
Yes. Yeah.
Rather than having to move the zipper foot itself.
Yeah, and I actually use the needle position quite often when I'm doing a zipper because I like to move it over and be closer to the teeth.
Right.
Or well, sometimes further away, depending on the project. But it's a great feature to have.
Yeah, that's one thing that I didn't on my old Singer. I didn't have that. It was like, you know, it kind of gave you this is got an automatic buttonhole, But sometimes you want the buttonhole bigger than your buttonhole will make it. You know what I mean?
I do know. Yeah. Yeah.
And so you've got to manually play with it and work it and
Yeah.
make your
And
buttonhole.
I apologize, but when you said the model number, I couldn't hear you. Could you repeat?
XR53.
XR53, because I could almost make it out there on the front, so I thought people might wonder. That's a nice machine. You've
They don't
got
make
some decorative stitches there.
Yeah, they don't make it anymore.
Yeah.
It's,
Well,
they're always changing models and stuff. And that one they don't
of
make.
course, yeah. Newer, faster, better, right? That's what they think.
Now what I do is
I was just talking with a friend of mine about, have you ever heard the term planned obsolescence?
yes.
Well, let me give you a perfect example. For anyone, I keep saying for anyone, but if you don't know what planned obsolescence is, it's basically that when you buy something, whether it's an iron, a sewing machine, anything at all, a TV, there's a certain shelf life, for lack of a better word, and they're not going to last like they used to, like something purchased, say, in the 1950s. Well, the reason I asked that, Richard, was because I am 3 payments away from paying off my phone, and guess what? Now it doesn't like to hold a charge, and when I'm charging it, it heats up so hot that I don't dare leave it sitting on like the side of the couch or anything like that,
Right.
for fear it could just get way too hot. Planned obsolescence. I'm sure that there's a reason.
Yeah.
So how hot is it where you are today?
I don't know. I didn't check actually.
Oh, no, just in general. I just wondered if it's
I
like,
know yourself, but I didn't check. I'm not
yeah.
sure. I know it was a lot warmer yesterday.
Yeah, we were yesterday a lot warmer than what we are today. We're actually, I think, only supposed to get to 74 today, which is really nice compared to what it's been. Now, where you live, do you guys have a lot of humidity?
Not usually, no.
No. See here, I got up this morning and when I woke up, it was only 68 degrees, but it was 99% humidity.
That's really awful, yeah.
And that's the kind of heat that, you go take a shower, you come out and you can't dry off. Your hair stays damp and, the humidity is just not fun. Do you make, I think you do, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Do you make the hanging towels?
I have made them, yes.
There's a reason I asked. Now I have tried, I couldn't even tell you how many different, how there's so many different ways to make them.
Right.
Well, I'm not a fan of making them. I personally don't use them, but I know family members and friends who love to have them. So I do try to make them. But I have not found the one pattern that will change my mind into liking them.
Yeah.
I do tend to like the ones that fold over the front and have a button or a snap. You've got black.
I've made those. There's so many, like you said, there's so many. You can even make them with potholders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't remember. I made several different patterns too. I've tried several.
You made some what?
I've used several different patterns.
Yeah, me too. I've seen some that they just have a piece of fabric and then a strap that goes over it, and there's something about the way you flip the towel through it or something. I'm going to give that a try. It doesn't have a snap or a button or anything on it. But I don't mind getting the buttonhole or attachment out and doing that. That's something different. I find it fun to do some of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I don't like to use the machine to sew the button itself on, though. That's
No,
one thing I don't like to do. I always feel like I need to tie it off or knot it, and I can't.
Yeah.
Because I've used it before to sew the button on, and then if I pull the string, it just keeps pulling out. So I'm not a fan. Maybe there's a way to secure it, leave the thread long and.
Like, yeah, getting it all set up. It seems more work than it's worth.
And just to let anyone know who's wondering, all these scrappy strips that I'm working with, I got from My Fabric Addiction 1 over on Etsy. I will drop a link below to the shop. Now, I didn't get these all in one bag. Okay, you can buy autumn strips, but the scrappy strips that I got over time, not just all from one package. So, just saying. And I'm just simply using a piece of cotton batting and just quilt as I go. I'm just folding it down, putting right sides together. Not that we're doing a tutorial, but just in case you're wondering. That's what I'm doing. So Richard was one of my first subscribers. He's been with me from the very beginning. Thank you, Richard. And there's some of you who have. You've been here from day one, which is great.
And I'm using zipper tape.
Zipper tape is good too, yeah. Yeah. I have like 4 rolls of it, I think, because I asked my son and daughter-in-law, they were going to Bangor, which is about 250 miles from here. It's the closest place that has like hobby stores like Joann Fabric or anything like that. So I was just new to zippers at the time, and I asked them to pick me up some, and they did. The very first roll I ever had was 1/8 inch, and it was beautiful stuff to work with, but since then I can't find it. I can only find the 1/4 inch. What's that?
I know. No, I know what you mean. Yeah, I don't know why.
The zipper tape that he's talking about is also called Wonder Tape. So if you Google it, you're wondering what it is. Actually have some here. You Wonder Tape. It's also called Wonder Tape. This is 1/4 inch, and it's a double-sided adhesive. So you lay it out and you kind of run your finger across there to hold it down. I actually use an iron just real quick. And then I peel the paper back, and then it's sticky. So you would be able to keep your zipper in place exactly where you want it, which is very important, especially if you are new to zippers. You definitely don't want your zipper floating around somewhere where it shouldn't be. Do you remember what your first zipper project was, Richard?
I don't remember exactly.
I can remember it was a multi-zipper handbag, and what would possess me to think that would be a good thing to start with is beyond me.
I can remember doing it, but I don't remember.
Nothing like jumping into the fire, right?
Yeah. That was long before YouTube, so it was read the manual and figure out how to use the
But
zipper.
I now love, I didn't, a year ago, I had never even purchased Zipper by the Yard, and now I am a fan of that. Huge fan. I like both zippers as well as lace, but the Zipper by the Yard, I don't know, it does have some drawbacks, though, I will say.
It does, you know. It does.
What's that?
It does have its drawbacks. You're right.
Yeah. One thing I find is when I make these open wide zippered bags, I like to leave, on one end, I fold the zipper up towards itself. I think you've seen me do it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like in a V. Well, when you're using the Zipper by the Yard, it doesn't fold easily. It's really hard to get that fold that I want. So that's one negative for me. See if I don't have it right here. I was going to say I had one of those bags right handy. I could have shown you, but either way. Zippity doo dah. Autumn fabric. Yeah, I didn't do the craft fair this year, so there was no hurry to get a bunch of stuff sewn. Last year, I was really making myself crazy trying to get ready for a craft fair that ended up being a bust. A complete bust. Because it was so hot. I almost passed out from heat stroke.
Yes.
So do you have projects coming up, Richard? Like maybe that you have planned to sew over the next month or so, things you need to get done?
Just the church bazaar. They want plastic bag holders, aprons, microwave bowls, microwave potato bags.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a list of stuff to make for this year.
I see.
I don't need it till like December. So
We don't have plastic bags in Maine anymore. We haven't had them for, I'm gonna say 2 years now. Every once in a while, I'll think, I wish I had a few, but I'm not big on what they do environmentally, so I can talk myself right out of needing them. But I will say that when our daughter and son-in-law came up from New Hampshire earlier in the year, I asked our son-in-law to bring me up some plastic bags. Because there are times when you really need them, you know, or could use them. I shouldn't say need. But the funny thing about that is you can go into Walmart or the grocery store and buy them right on the shelf. So I guess it does cut down some because they're not bagging them, because that was probably a lot of bags, but you can still get plastic bags. So.
well, I remember during the pandemic.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
During the pandemic, nearby Massachusetts,
Yeah.
they went with paper bags
Okay.
before the pandemic happened. So when the pandemic happened, they didn't want you to bring in your reusable bag, and they went back to plastic bags.
I see. Yeah.
Probably back to paper now, but they went back to the plastic.
Yeah. Well, what they did here, because it was the similar issue, it was like, you know, they wouldn't bag them. You had to bag them yourself with your reusable. bags. The clerks weren't allowed to touch your bags. But I suppose each state figures it out, you know.
And generally the town too, because I know other places don't have the plastic bags, so it might have just been
I see.
that. But I also know the Stop and Shop has a thing. If you do your own bags, they're asking you how many paper bags did you use, and they don't have any paper bags there. So
Huh.
when you check out, they question you how many paper bags do you have, because they're going to charge you for them.
Right? Huh. Yeah, they do here. Like if you go to the grocery store and you don't have any bags,
Yeah.
the first thing, like at Walmart, what they have is they have the reusable that start at about, I think they're 97 cents or something. But they're not that great of a bag. My husband and I have some square zip, what would you call them? Like for freezer or hot food. They're insulated. There we are. I couldn't think of the word. We have some of those that we really like. So the ones, let's say at Walmart that are 97 cents, I don't want those because they don't hold much, you know, so. All right, I'm trying to match my fabrics up and I've forgotten here which one I need. Is that a pink or a red zipper? I can't tell.
Red.
Red. Do you save your ends of your zippers too?
Sometimes. Depends.
Sometimes, yeah, that's my answer too. Sometimes.
If these are short, so I didn't bother saving these, but usually I do. I feel well, because sometimes I can use them.
Mm-hmm. Right. Peace. Dark light, dark light. I don't know. I messed up my sequence. Oops. I'm trying on each side of these to not put everything in the same order. But I don't want to put like these two darks together, but I might end up having to do it anyway, whether I want to or not. Because it's already sewn. So guess what? Marie's gonna do it anyway. I'm a rebel. I'm a rebel. We're gonna have some fresh garden peas with supper tonight. Yum, yum. Okay. Blue, black. Am I missing? If I only had a brain. I'm missing something here. I don't know what. Leaves, of course. Thing is, I pre-cut everything, so it is here. I just don't happen to know where it is. I'll find it when we're not recording. So when you make up these microwave bowl cozies for the bazaar, and these other items, do you kind of think in your head, well, I'm going to make 40 of this and 20 of that, or do you just sew until you get bored of sewing it?
I figure out about how many I'm going to make and get the materials for them. So
Mm-hmm.
where this turned out anyway. It's a little.
Because I find if I cut a bunch of, it always seems like it takes a while to sew in that way. I'm trying to think of the word and I know it. But when you're mass producing something, it seems like, oh, you know, you're cutting for a long time and then you're sewing for a long time and this and that. But when you're done, you've got a whole stack of them. And then when you look back, it's like, oh, it really didn't take as long as I thought.
Right.
To get that whole stack done.
No.
Because I did that when I did the fair last year and I made those open wide zippered bags like what I'm working on now. What I would do was say I wanted to use blues and blacks.
Right.
So then I wouldn't have to keep switching thread colors. So I went by thread color, fabric colors with what was together. So I'd sew all the darks at once and then all the lights at once. And
Yeah.
do all the quilting. Is my machine too loud, Richard?
No.
Okay. We've probably got another 5 minutes to go entertaining these fine people.
Maybe I'd start working on some of my aprons.
And I will have sewn 2 fronts. Have one more batting cut out. When you showed me those pieces of fabric earlier where you were saying you get one of each,
Oh, yeah,
I
because
kept thinking, you know, what all the different ways a person could use that, which
you
is
make it 10
a
separate,
few ways.
make it 10 different prints in each package.
Uh-huh.
You know, in this package, this particular one comes with these prints. So I buy 2 packages, so I'd have,
Sure.
you know, to for the bag. I needed it for the bag.
Right. Yeah, because I was thinking in these wide open zippered bags I make, those would be perfect for linings, those pieces.
Now I have this I have a magnetic seam guide, but sometimes it doesn't want to sit where you want it to.
Yeah, I have one, yeah.
So have a set of these, which is who makes these? Oh, Clover, but they're Nancy Zimmerman, and they have
I've never seen that one.
they're sticky. There it is. Yeah. They peel the backing off, but they stick. So you can put it on, it'll push it down and it doesn't move.
Oh,
So
that's a nice big one. Yeah.
it's 2 in a package.
Yeah, because mine is just a little metal one. I think like the one you were first showing.
I've got those, but it's 2. This one came 2 in a package. So you got 2 to put together. If you wanted to put them together, make it long or something, you had that.
I see. Yeah. Wow. And that's on Nancy Zimmerman, you said?
Yeah, they kind of clip together this way, make it long.
Okay, so what I did with these, just to show you, is I used the same prints on both, but I just put them in a different order.
Right.
And that's how I got 2 darks over here, because I wasn't watching what I was doing. But it's a bag. I don't think it's a do or die situation.
Right. I think I bought this because it was on sale at Walmart.
Uh-huh.
It was in their discount.
I think your Walmart is probably bigger than ours, because you'll tell me things you've got and I'll be like, geez, ours doesn't have that. Or I ordered from Walmart.com the other day, though, Richard. You know what I found? A bolt of muslin. Now, I was going into the store, and when I need some, I would grab it, and it was a 2-yard cut. $5.44, I believe, for that. Let me see. I'll be able to tell you here as soon as I find it. How much I paid for it. $37.96 for 48-inch wide, 25 yards. $37.86. And I've been paying for 2 yards. I've been paying $5.44. So I was happy with that. Very happy. Well, everyone, I want to thank you for sitting and chatting with Richard and I today. I don't know what you're working on, but I hope you had fun. And I want to thank Richard for hanging out with us today. He took a tour of the sewing room. No, really, he didn't. But I did clean it up. I know it doesn't show, but I did clean it up. Richard, also, it looks like you have a wonderful little workspace there. I wanted to say compact, but it seems like it gets the job done.
Yeah, well, I had to move stuff up the wall so we could film today.
Okay. Well, we're going to hang it up here, folks, but thanks a lot for hanging out with us today. And remember, be kind out there. The world needs more of that. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.